This is the first lecture of materials, and the first thing which I want to tell you is that if you don't understand that why I am doing something, then you don't do it with full concentration. The significance of material is that, as I have written, how do you like your work to be? Because if you look around, your walls are made of material, your body is made of material, your environment is made of material. So, including yourself, everything is made of material. And whatever you see around the world is because the people want it to be like that. Or if you look into the history of mankind, their living, their life, and everything depended on materials. For example, when they excelled in making tools from stones, making caves in rocks, produce products through agriculture and other means, all of them were materials, and their skills give a specific name. It was a signature on the period that in which material they excelled. Later on, things change with technology, but again you are making material. You are looking for mental comfort, or you are looking for an ease in daily life. This is a very wrong conception, because if you are looking for comfort, this means you are losing yourself. Look for something which can keep you active, because the human body, it needs exercise. So the aim, the goal of the mankind and the intellectual has been a little bit comfort. But at the same time, if everything comes to the switching on and off of a button, or you yourself lay down for a few days in a bed and don't come down, automatically you will, your health will deteriorate and you will lose your life, right? So the focus is live the life in full swing. In full swing means help others and get help, but have an active life, so that you are healthy intellectually, mentally, physically, or wait for death. You have these two choices. Either you want to live the life in full swing or wait for death. Obviously, none will prefer to wait for death. Then the types of food. Do you want your food to be of your choice? Should it be forced upon you that we have this for you, if you want to eat it, or don't? And the third thing is begging. These three kinds of foods are available in the universe. Some people have food of their choice, and this is the class who work hard. The second one is the forced one. They are parasites upon states, upon relatives, upon colleagues and people like that. They don't have their choice. We say that everybody finds food in the universe, but different foods are different. Eating with honor and eating with begging are completely two opposite poles. And the last choice is begging, and none of you like it. So for that we need material science, because material science make your places, your buildings, your chairs, your tables, all are related to materials. Material science is your food, material science is your medicine. Material science is preparing biomedical materials for implants in the body. Your own body is material, your blood is material. So material is so induced and connected with humanity and universe that without learning material science, you feel lost. If you don't know materials, this means you don't know anything in the material universe. For that purpose, we want our world to be how we want it. When we were not skilled enough, when we had very limited resources, we used to use locally available clays, straw and different things, the woods to make our buildings. Yes, people used to shine them, and the soapstone, which is a magnesium silicate, it used to be used as a shiny material in the old muddy houses. There used to be a white clay with which people used to lay the walls of the house. Then they used to make flowers upon using that soapstone. And that soapstone used to be called in the old days as shageguli. Right? So mankind in every time tried their best to utilize the available resources and make things beautiful. And a strange thing is that we tried to change the nature, and the more we changed the nature, we felt proud for that. And a time came that we are making now artificial nature for ourselves. For example, you see in the big markets that people bring stones there, rocks there, giving it a natural look, plantation, artificial plants, indoor plants and different things are done to make nature again. So once we destroy the nature, change it with artificial things, now we are again moving towards that by realizing that nature is equally important. So a student must study that if he is doing something, for example, you are switching on the key of a motorbike, do you know what you are doing? You are releasing carbon into the environment. And each carbon atom eats 2 oxygen atoms. Each carbon atom eats 2 oxygen atoms to make carbon dioxide. Oxygen is the gas of life and carbon is the gas of death. So switching on the key, you must think about that. What are you doing with your environment? How can you minimize this? This never means that stop today and do nothing of the modern world, but you must be careful. For developing your environment, yourself, your country, your region, the focus of a material scientist is upon the performance of material. The performance is that you select a specific material for a specific application. For example, steel in beams and bridges, plastic. Why plastic for ties? Because of shapeability. You can shape them easily into different forms. Strength. When the kids play with them, they are not broken. When they hit each other with the plastic ties, they don't get hurt that much. Their weight is less because of the less density. So you look into the properties. Here comes the point of property. That why properties are important. And it gives you a choice of which material we should use. So, in the previous lectures I gave you the example of cell phone. That you need 3 things from that. Number 1, its size should be small, it should be portable, the weight should be affordable so that you can keep it in your pocket. And I told you that its size is inversely proportional, the circuit size, to the square root of the dielectric constant. So the higher the dielectric constant, the smaller will be the circuit size. Secondly, I told you that it must be, it have tunability. It can be tuned into specific frequencies so that the signals are not interrupted in the way. Thirdly, it must work. This means it must resonate. There is the frequency of resonation should not change when you change the temperature of the environment. So these three properties, the material scientists took these three properties and then they focus upon that. Then I give you the example of tea, that you wanted some nicotine for your body, for calmness, and the taste was very bad. So you added sugar into it so that its taste is good. But when just tea syrup type thing went into your stomach, it was acidic. You put milk upon it so that you cancel the acidity by an alkaline material. So the whole material science is that thing. The engineering, the tailoring of properties required for a specific use. Then a computer chip, for example, I have written here, should survive the lifetime of the computer or forever. When you buy a computer, in most cases in the modern day, it works up to 5 years. Mechanically it is strong. It doesn't erode with time. But after 5 years, the previous software are no more in use. They are upgraded. The memory, the speed and everything enhances. If I tell you the difference, that after the punch key cards, when we were students, we used to learn the language basics, then came Fortran, these type of languages there, and there was a punch key type system to store the data. Yes. Then when I started myself, it was floppy disk, and the total memory of a floppy disk was 1.34 or something like that, a megabyte. 1.34 megabyte. And it used to be considered a huge source of information. When I was buying my computer on my own in 1995 or 96, I bought it for 400 pounds, and the shopkeeper told me that it is written 8 GB on its hard disk, but its memory is 9 point something GB. And if you bring the whole world information into it, it is still more than enough. Because at that time that was a huge memory. Nowadays, you are measuring in TBs, terabytes, right? So, the yesterday computer may be mechanically sound today, but memory-wise, speed-wise, software-wise, they are not working at this time. So, you have to change your computer after 5 years, 6 years or 4 years, depending on your use. What does this mean? For example, I can make a software which can last for 100 years. But when it is not of use after 5 years, why should I spend so much on that processor to work for 100 years? If I am making it such a unique equipment that it lasts for 100 years, it will cost a lot of money. And then this computer, this laptop will not be affordable by the common man, right? So, an intelligent scientist, a smart scientist is looking to the cost, which is very important. That if I am making something, it must be of a specific quality. It lasts or it should work up to a specific period, but at an affordable cost. This is the job of the material engineer, a material scientist, to look for materials which are cheaper and which can do the job you are expecting from. So you tailor materials to perform in a desired way at an affordable cost. Don't spend so much money on things which becomes everlasting but not affordable. So this is also, so economics must be kept in mind, and the global market is dictated by two things: quality and value, price. These two must be kept in mind. What the property is, in the previous lectures I told you that if I put water on my sleeve, it either absorbs it or repel it. The water, the drops of water are external stimuli, external stimulus, and the response of the material is the property of the material, right? So the response of a material to an external stimulus is called the property of material. So you keep that in mind. One thing which I want to clarify, that things are very simple when you understand them, and very simple things are complicated when you don't understand them. Don't remember what the complications of things are. Try to understand them, and the understanding has different levels. The first level is just knowing of something, that yes, I have seen this person. This is also a sort of information. I know the name of this person. This is another level of understanding and information. I know about the behavior of this person. This is another level of understanding. I know about the origin of this person. From where does he come? I know the parents of this person. This person is my relative. This person is my immediate relative. So this is the level of knowing things. Knowing things, the best level is, for example, I say a word and you say, I know the spelling of this word. The other person say, I can pronounce this word. The third person say, I know the meaning of this word. The other say, I know about the linguistic analysis of this word, the history of this word. And another comes and he says that I feel this word. Understanding is basically the feeling of things. If you see a farmer, he comes out of the room and looks into the sky. He doesn't run to the books to check that if the color of cloud is like this, it will rain, it will be a storm, it will not rain. No, when he looks into the sky, he tells you that it will rain or not. Why? Because he feels the behavior of the cloud. The same thing should be with the students, that when you start to feel things, if I'm looking into this wall, it comes to my mind that it is mostly silicate material. Silica must be there. Then there must be potassium and sodium and calcium, magnesium, aluminum, because these are the general silicate minerals which we collect together and make walls from them. Then, if I am in a hot weather country, I should realize that this wall will be very hot in the noon time, because sun will fall upon it, and silicate minerals these are absorbing heat and it will come towards us. So this is the feeling which takes you forward. So when you try to understand things with that level, then you can assess the material and you can develop it into a product. Now, my today aim is to tell you about the various types of material. It becomes very difficult if you start counting the material. This remote control, it has a different type of material. These keys, these are different type of materials. These brushes, these are different types of material. This laptop is of different material. This meter rod is a different material. This wire, cable, everything is different. So how can I table them so that I write the names of all of them? In the history of mankind, people have developed some rules, some procedures to limit the unlimited. To limit the unlimited. So they have considered, for example, in the case of materials, that the type of material should be based on something. Right? For example, I want you to remember three things. Number one is the viscosity. As a scientist, you shouldn't think about other things. You think about viscosity. If a material is least viscous, this means it is flowable. The least viscous will be gas. The intermediate viscosity, if a material has that type of viscosity, we will call it liquid. And if the viscosity is high, this means it is not flowable. Or if you want to permeate something through it, it will not allow it. If you want to walk on the road, you are walking in air. Air is a gas type thing. Least viscous. It doesn't resist your walking. But if you walk in water, it is a little bit more viscous. It resists your walking. Instead of water, if you walk in a pond of oil, then it will be very difficult to move. And when it gets thicker and thicker, higher and higher in viscosity, it will become difficult. So you should not think about solid, liquid, gases, but think in terms of viscosity. If something is viscous, the most viscous is the solid. The intermediate viscous things are liquid, and the easily flowable, least viscous are the gases. So materials are found in these three forms: solids, liquids and gases. And viscosity is the basic thing. As a scientist, you should think about the property, not about the common observation. Right? If you ask a person who doesn't know physics and chemistry and basic sciences, and you ask them then why this solid is solid, these are the main questions which physicists, chemists and these people should address. This is solid because it is the most viscous form of material. Viscous means, what viscous means? This is important. The atoms are not cannot be easily moved from their positions. Then another question comes: can atom be stagnant? Because we were told that atoms are constantly vibrating. So when atom position is not constant, how can you say that atoms are at specific positions? Can they be there? If somebody asks you that is Yaseen in department, you have a number of answers to give. The first thing is when. that when is very important, because at a moment I may not be in the department. At a moment I will be in the department. But if somebody asks you that in 24 hours, can you say he will be in the department? You say yes, 100%. Right? So when atom is vibrating, oscillating about its mean position, it must be kept in mind that the scientists are not lying, but they are saying that, for example, this is atom and this is oscillating between these two, and they are saying the probability of the presence of atom in a specific time. So if the oscillation period is in nanoseconds, so in 1 second it passes by the mean position. So per second you can say, but in a specific part of a second it may not be there. So when you take the probability over a longer time than the period of oscillation, it is there. That is why people say atoms are at fixed positions. But in liquids, in gases, they move around. Right? So when these things move easily, we call them less viscous and are more fluid, and those where the atom's oscillation is limited, they are called more viscous or less fluid.